to be understandable to not only the younger generation but also with the older generation. This has been done to make my magazine suitable to a mixture of age ranges. The layout of my magazine is also reflective of how my model is represented in the way to the audience. It gives an effect of being relaxed and cool. Also, the clothing of my model is of representation of today's society, as people now are wearing the same thing and want to be like how my model is. This also has an attractive view to the audience. I have addressed the reader in this manner to make it understandable and in relation to society today, this making it more real and inspirational to the audience. On Faisal's magazine, it has attracted the audience in a positive way, as the model is a female, and this would attract a lot of the male audience. The model, that is Yasmin, is making full eye contact to the audience, and she is sending a sense of power and ownership, as well as she looks like she is cozy and relaxed. The picture of Yasmin is in black and white, which shows contrast, and this links to her story and her new album, Love Me or Hate Me, and this will grab the reader's attention. The use of font and colour is very simple, as I have used a three-way colour scheme, which will not draw the reader's attention away from the main image. However, the font is very unique but easy to read, which adds an implication of convergence to the magazine. This makes the magazine more appealing and exciting to the audience, as it is something different.
As a group, we have progressed a lot from the preliminary task to the music magazine. We used SLR cameras for our photo shoots. It was the first time we used an SLR camera, therefore we had a few difficulties trying to understand it. However, after a few test shoots, we are all now capable of using a professional camera. We also have an understanding of why different shots are used for a specific purpose, which allows us to experiment with different angles. For example, if a magazine cover had an artist slouched on a sofa, this would represent a laid-back approach to the magazine, whereas if a model was making a direct mode of address with a firm posture, this would send out a positive message to our readers.
My group members and I have had past experiences with Photoshop and InDesign, which made it very easy for us to create and edit our music magazine. However, when completing our preliminary tasks, we did not have a chance to use all of the tools Photoshop had to offer. During the making of our music magazine, we had the opportunity to explore with different tools such as spot healing brush tool, crop tool, image manipulation tool, and many more.
Wix was introduced to us during the creation of our music magazine, but we easily found our way around the site and were able to create an up and running website to show our work up to date. After completing my music magazine, I found that the photography aspect of this task was most enjoyable, as I had a chance to experiment with different angles and try out many shots. However, we were given Nikon SLR cameras for our music magazine. The compact cameras were easy to use, however, the Nikon cameras were heavier to maneuver around and was a lot more complicated to comprehend. After doing several shoots, I am now able to easily use the camera. I am also more confident when using Photoshop, as I am familiar with the tools it has to offer. I did 4 shoots and got a whole load of pictures at the end of it, so it was up to me to choose the pictures that best suited my genre and audience. After doing one test shoot, I found myself comfortable with the camera and the quality of the pictures, and I was able to distinguish which shots were going to be used for each page of the magazine. Whilst doing my shoots, I felt I was both professional and organised, as I had to manage my time carefully and sensibly, which helped my model feel more comfortable and relaxed. After doing my preliminary task, I knew I had to do further research into the codes and conventions of music magazines. I looked in depth at magazines that shared the same genre of music and similar audience groups, such as Vibe. I noticed that many popular magazines had a consistent house style, which my group members and I tried to keep the same throughout all of our magazines. A 3-colour scheme was often used, which made it easy for readers to distinguish 2 magazines apart. I used red, white and black, which are well-known R&B colours. I researched into the connotations of colours and found that red indicated strength, passion and courage, all of which I was trying to portray through my magazine. White is also associated with innocence and can represent a successful beginning, and it is a colour of perfection, which is reflected through my model, Aaliyah. Black is connected to power and elegance, which adds a sense of classiness to my magazine. Looking back at my preliminary task, I feel I have come a long way. I now know how to create cover lines that appeal to a specific target audience. Words like special edition attracts the reader's attention, making them believe this issue is exclusive and unique. Also, I am now capable to choose a shot that will attract the reader. For example, in my college magazine, the model on the front cover is not making a direct mode of address. However, in my music magazine, the model is directly looking at the audience. This allows the model to connect with the readers.
From starting my preliminary task, I've adopted skills that have progressed into helping me achieve the best outcome for my music magazine. There are many areas in which I have developed myself, whether it be from editing to photography. The first stage in creating a college magazine was to take a variety of shots to put on the front cover and contents page. The camera I used was simple, whilst the outcome of the photos were not professional. When it came to making my magazine, I realised that in order for it to look professional, I would need a better camera and to photograph. When it came to making my magazine, I realised that in order for it to look professional, I would need a better camera and to photograph a wide variety of shots. Also, the fact that we were in a photography studio made the pictures look much better instantly. Photography aside, at the start of making my college magazine, my knowledge of the editing software I used, Photoshop and InDesign, was very poor. I only knew how to use basic tools. As time progressed, I started to experiment in order to familiarise myself with the software and tools. For example, with the image used on my front cover, I needed to make the image brighter as it was a little dark. With the help of my teachers, I was able to brighten and contrast the image until I reached my final result. As a result, the effect makes my magazine more eye-catchy. And helps it stand out. Another skill I learned in making my magazine look professional would be the use of house style. When I started my preliminary task, I hadn't really researched much into the house style of school magazines, therefore it ended up not having much of a conventional magazine look to it. From this, I learnt that in order for my product to be at a high standard, I would need to research the house style for the genre I would choose. Once I had figured out a house style, I would then be able to go on and start the actual process of putting together my magazine.